I don't feel well. I don't feel well. Jesus, life shouldn't be that stressful if this is my show 2 weeks in. By week 10, I'm going to be doing the show from a casket. Casket.
What a difference a year makes, huh? Our boy John, after 2 weeks last year, was ready to throw in a towel. He's feeling a lot better about his team this year, though. What's up, Alakazam, Matt Dummett, Broski, and Alex. Happy Hump Day. That reminds me, broski. Let me pull up see if there's been a change in the line. Wow. It's gone up a point. 2.5. That means money was going on the Tigers at 1.5. Currently at 2.5, over under 55. The poll is now up for the channel members and the Patreon members as well for the members only stream on Saturday. So if you want to vote on that, go ahead and do so. The 2 time slots available are 3:30 games and 7:30 primetime games. Hey, that's perfectly fine. If you're both a Patreon member and a channel member, you get 2 votes. It is what it is. This might be the first week of the season so far that we have great games at every time slot, from noon all the way up until the 10th. You know, who plays in the Pac-12 late this week? I know somebody does. 12 straight hours of good games. Dabo Sweeney's out here pulling people off of their couch to kick field goals. I'm almost ready. Yeah. Hey, good morning. All right, what's up, everybody? Happy Hump Day. Welcome to the Midday Show. I'm your host, Pigskin Pete. Thank you for joining me this morning. I have a great show planned for you today. Unfortunately, I was not able to do the ACC show last night. Sometimes life happens, and some things are more important than YouTube. But anyway, we'll talk a little bit about the ACC games this week. I'm not going to spend the entire show trying to recreate the ACC show because there's a lot of other good games on this week to talk about. But we'll look at the ACC schedule a little bit. We'll look at some news, and then we'll open up the StreamYard. How's that sound? Sounds good to me. Let's see who's in here. Oh, a couple of announcements real quick, by the way. I already mentioned that the polls are up on my community page for the channel members to put your vote in for which members-only game stream we're going to do this week, either 3:30 or 7:30. I'm going to be doing the noon games on the public side of YouTube. That's when Clemson plays Florida State. It's up to you guys, the other time slot. It seems to me like most people prefer those members-only streams to be the primetime games at night, and that's just fine with me. That would give me a break between streaming the noon games and the night games, so I'm not doing back-to-back streams. Not that I'm against that. That's fine. I've done it before. But, streaming for 8 straight hours is somewhat tiresome for your boy. You know what I mean? But anyway, it doesn't matter to me. Also, a lot of you who do have memberships were gifted those memberships by several different people. And those the gifted memberships are only good for, I think, 30 days. And I know a bunch of them were gifted out right around about a month ago, towards the end of August. So you might want to check and make sure that yours hasn't expired before Saturday. I mean, you don't have to re-sign up if you don't want to, but if you do want to, you'll have to re-sign up. And also, I'm putting it in order either today or tomorrow for some merch. I told you for the champion members of the members on YouTube. You are entered into giveaways, and all of the Patreon members are entered into the giveaways. So I'm going to order some stuff, and we'll start doing some giveaways here in the next couple of weeks to all of you fine folks for supporting the channel and the show. Who we got in here? Alakazam, Matt Dummett, Broski Bear, Alex, Jeremy Garrettson, Slim Shady Canes, Drewski two times. The Nature Boy, Battle Angel, Colby, Luke the Tar Heel. He changed his name again. He's one of these people now that is perpetual name changer. He was what was he? The delusional Tar Heel fan, I think is what it was. So you're not delusional anymore from last week to this week? That's good to know. I beg to differ, though. VicTube Productions. My only, but also my best client in my sports agency. And my YouTube sports agency, that is. The Uncle Lou says, good morning. Good morning to you too, sir. Sea-Dog is in the house. Third and Nate. Look at him. We got Martin Dubé in here. Good to see you. Been a while. He says, good morning, Pete. The president of my country is a Florida State alum. Please do not lose to them on Saturday. The president of your country? What country? I forget where he lives. Remind me. Chunky Nothing, Nick DTV, Squan Man, P Digits, John Serene. He stopped being delusional once he admitted that Canes King was good. Huh. I don't think he's in China. And I don't think that President Xi is a Florida State alum, sir. What are you talking about? All right, anyway, let's take a look here. Let's take a look, shall we? We'll do a little bit of ACC talk to top the show off here. There's still a wide open race in the ACC right now. And I do agree with who said that earlier. I think it was Luke said that this is pretty much an ACC elimination game for Clemson. You know, having lost to Duke week 1, I think I would tend to agree with him there. That would put them way behind the 8 ball as far as the conference goes. It would put them clearly out of any playoff talk, although I'm not even thinking about playoffs at this point. But it would definitely eliminate them from that conversation and most likely eliminate them from the ACC conversation. A loss for Florida State would not eliminate them by any stretch of the imagination. The issue is there's a bunch of very good teams in the ACC this year. It's going to be contested. I believe the ACC right now is one of the most contested conferences in the country, right up there with the Pac-12. Syracuse is looking like a pretty good team that could upset some people and, you know, take their chances of winning the ACC away. And a lot of these teams have to play each other, right? Clemson has to play both Miami and Florida State still. And they have to play each other. They all play each other, which is what I'm getting at here. So the elimination may begin this weekend. We'll see. Florida State and Clemson at noon. This line has moved. Well, it opened up at 1 on, what was it, Sunday last week. Then as of Monday afternoon, it was 1.5. Florida State favored. And as of this morning, I just checked a minute ago, it's 2.5 now, which means money is going on the Tigers. So we'll see how far it moves between now and kickoff. I don't know. I think it's going to be somewhere between 2 and 3. I wouldn't imagine it would go more than a field goal. Speaking of field goals, Dabo Swinney has gone out and got a kicker who hasn't kicked a football since April. I mean, quite literally. I'm not exaggerating or anything like that. The guy hasn't kicked a football since April. He was on his couch on Saturday watching Clemson play Florida Atlantic. The game ends. His phone rings. Dabo Swinney's on the phone with him, asking him if he wants to come back because he's a graduate student taking online classes here in Charleston. If he wants to come back to Clemson to kick against Florida State. Now, as far as I know from the story, he's only kicking in this one game. I guess he's got a job in New York City. He's already leased an apartment up there. He starts in 2 weeks. So the idea here is that he's benching the freshman Gunn for this game. And the reason I think he's just doing it just for this game is because he feels like the environment might be too big for him after all the kicks that he's missed so far this year. The disturbing thing about this isn't the fact that he's benching the true freshman, quote-unquote, phenom kicker is what Dabo calls him. It's the fact that you have to get a guy off the couch because your other 2 kickers on the roster aren't good enough to start. So you've got 3 kickers. You don't have confidence in any of them. So you go get a guy who was the backup to BT Potter for 3 seasons. He was on the team for 4 years, so it's not like, you know, it's not like he's not familiar with the team and whatnot. But Dabo did say that he has not quite literally kicked a football until, I guess, yesterday or maybe Tuesday. Yesterday was Tuesday, either Monday or Tuesday, since April. So that'll be interesting. And a quote from Dabo was, "This could either be a great story or it could be a disaster." I tend to agree with him. Georgia needs to do the same thing from what the Georgia fans are telling me. They have kicking problems as well. And when you're in a game that could potentially be as close as this one between Florida State and Clemson, missing a field goal or extra point or 2 could definitely be the difference in winning and losing this game. So we'll see how that all works out. Army and Syracuse. Army with the most efficient. Wait, is it Army or Air Force? I think maybe it's, I might have that wrong. I think it might be Air Force. Air Force has the #1 total defense in the country. I expect Syracuse to roll in this. They are top 3 in offensive efficiency in the entire country. Virginia Tech and Marshall. These are all at noon, by the way. I would expect Virginia Tech to lose this game outright. Duke and UConn. More importantly, Duke at UConn. Not just Duke and UConn. Duke at UConn. Another boneheaded scheduling faux pas by the ACC. Traveling on the road to play a lower classification team. Despite all of that, I expect Duke to roll in this. Number 18 ranked Duke, by the way. Miami and Temple, that should be, well, it should be. Another one, look, at Temple. I don't know why they do this. Look over here. You get the ticket prices. Clemson and Florida State tickets as low as $78. So that's as low as means that's the cheapest ticket you can buy right now. $78 to sit up at the very top of the stadium. Look at this. Army and Syracuse tickets as low as $13. $13. That's like 1 cup of Starbucks. For the low, low price of 1 giant cup of Starbucks, you can go watch Army and Syracuse. In the world's smallest indoor football stadium. Look, it costs more to go to Marshall than it does Syracuse. But look at this. UConn, tickets as low as $12. Damn. They may as well just give them away for free. $12. Will Shipley shows why he's the next CMAC and propels Clemson to a win. Yeah. He seems to be big mad he doesn't have a rushing touchdown this year. He's got 1 million yards, 1 million carries, and no rushing touchdowns. He does have some receiving touchdowns, though. Boston College at Louisville. Louisville is about to prove to the world exactly why Florida State is very beatable when they roll all over Boston College. Probably a little bit of a hangover game for the Eagles as well. I mean, look, of course I'm going to troll Florida State, but they gave Florida State all they could handle. They laid it out all out on the field. They very easily could have beat Florida State, but that was a very exciting game. Georgia Tech at Wake Forest, that's a good one. Another one, tickets as low as $13. And North Carolina at Pittsburgh. This is interesting. Of course, everybody believes that North Carolina should go in there and roll. Pittsburgh is on a 2-game losing streak now. Got absolutely manhandled by the West Virginia Mountaineers in a very, that's a rivalry game. It was in West Virginia. The Pittsburgh fans are ready to jump off of any bridge that leads into one of those 3 rivers that runs through Pittsburgh. The message boards, I've seen a million. I'm not on message boards, but I see a million screenshots on Twitter from message boards. Message boards are some of the funniest and weirdest places in the sports world. But they can't stand this Phil Jerkovich, and you know that he knows that they can't stand him. Who is their backup quarterback? And will we see a change at quarterback? I like message boards too. I like reading the message boards. I don't get involved in typing on them. It seems to me like a giant waste of my time. You know what I mean? Plus, I do enough arguing about football and whatnot right here on this channel. I'll keep it that way. I have no interest in going on TigerNet and arguing with people on there. So there you have it. Is this a trap game for North Carolina? Well, that would shake things up if somehow Pittsburgh beat North Carolina. Again, another team right there, North Carolina, that has hopes and a legitimate chance also to be in Charlotte in December for the ACC championship. All right, let's see if we can find any news here. Is there any? I don't know.
Breaking news from the Pigskin Pete YouTube channel.
I know a lot of you have heard about this. The guy that died at the New England Patriots game. There's been some controversy about why he died. He got into a physical altercation with another guy. This guy's there with his son. You know, it seems like every single week there's somebody posting a video online. This for some reason seems to be an NFL thing. You don't see this that much in college. I don't really know why that is. But it seems like every single week now you see some kind of like big fight in the stands between fans at NFL football games. This one ended up in a guy dying. Now the question was he beaten to death because that was the narrative that was put out there, or did he just have a heart attack during the fight and die? So autopsy finds a man who was punched at New England Patriots game before had a medical issue. This phenomenon with all the fighting that goes on in the NFL games these days, it makes me not want to go to an NFL game. I mean, I'd say probably over the past 20 years, I've probably been to 15 Carolina Panther games almost every year, right? Now, I've never had any sort of issue with this, but but I've seen people engage in this kind of behavior in the stands, and I don't want to put myself in that situation. I'm certainly not one of these idiots that's going out to a sporting event looking to fight somebody. But you can't control what other people are doing. I mean, somebody attacks you, you have to defend yourself. So I don't know, man. Anyway, a man who died at New England Patriots home game last weekend after he was punched at least twice in the head did not suffer a traumatic injury in the stands, but he had a medical issue. Police and safety personnel responded to the upper deck of Gillette Stadium shortly before 11 p.m. Sunday and found Dale Mooney, age 53, of New Hampshire, in apparent need of medical attention. He was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Our investigation has included numerous law enforcement interviews and the examination of multiple angles of a video capturing a scuffle prior to Mr. Dale Mooney's collapse during the Sunday night game at Gillette Stadium, the district attorney's office said in a statement. Preliminary autopsy results did not suggest traumatic injury, but did identify a medical issue, according to the statement. Cause and manner of death remain undetermined pending further testing. So they're not even going to tell us what the medical issue is. I'm going to go ahead and assume that the guy had a heart attack. He got so worked up. He probably already had a weak heart, one of those deals. and went into cardiac arrest. He basically engaged in mutual combat with, I love that term, mutual combat, with another fan. People tried to separate the two, but then a man in the Dolphins jersey reached over and he connected with 2 punches to the victim's head. It wasn't something crazy or out of the ordinary until 30 seconds later, the guy was not getting up. Of course, this guy's family members, his wife in particular, is wanting some sort of charges to be brought against the guy who punched her husband. Fan violence at sporting events, especially among rival supporters, is a long-running problem. In 2011, paramedic and San Francisco Giants fan Brian Stowe was beaten in the Dodger Stadium parking lot. Yeah, I remember that story. Two Los Angeles Dodgers fans punched Stowe, who fell to the pavement and suffered severe head injuries. He was awarded about $14 million when a jury found that the team was negligent. The attackers received prison sentences. That's the thing that you have to think about. Anytime that you engage in, whether it's at a sporting event or not, if you get into a street fight with somebody, all it takes is for you to hit them or them trip or whatever, hit their head off the pavement and die, and now you're convicted of murder or manslaughter or whatever. Even if your intention is not to kill somebody, this shit happens. So the moral of the story is, if you're a grown person, don't be out in the streets fighting. Let's go to sports entertainment here. This other shit's depressing. Unfortunate news for our boy Nick Chubb. Suffered another serious injury. Of course, we all know how he suffered one in college when he was at Georgia. And he suffered another one this past weekend, which sucks, both for him and for the Browns. Now the Browns are going to sign back Kareem Hunt, I think, to try to fill in his spot there. Although I don't think that Kareem Hunt is near as good a running back as Nick Chubb is, and as important to that team as Nick Chubb is. Now, come on now. Promotion, relegation, and college football game-changing idea could save the Pac-12? Hold on. I'm going to go ahead and say fake news on that. I don't think there's anything saving the Pac-12 at this point. Let's see what it says, though. The remaining 2 members of the imploded Pac-12 conference, Oregon State and Washington State, meet in a game of a top 25 ranked teams. Amid a slew of giant matchups this weekend, the Pac-12 battle is sliding beneath the hubbub despite the stakes. The Cougars are 3-0, ranked number 21, and have taken down Wisconsin with FCS turn to power 5 dual-threat quarterback Cameron Ward. The Beavers are 3-0, ranked 14, and have allowed 33 points in 3 games with former Clemson quarterback DJ Uiagalelei manning the offense. But it's off the field where so much interest in these 2 programs lies. As they team up for a court fight over the Pac-12's survival, their future conference affiliation hangs in doubt. Will they dissolve the Pac-12 and join the Mountain West? Will they merge with the Mountain West under a Pac-12 banner to preserve the league and its assets? Will they rebuild the Pac-12 by plucking other group of 5 members? Which one of those 3 things do you guys think is most likely? I don't know. Or will they do something unconventional, creative, and some might say altogether eccentric? Will they leap with both feet into a pool of uncertainty, overhaul how college conferences are structured, and remake the industry's long-standing model? And how in the hell would they do that? We have to think differently, said one Mountain West athletic director who wished to remain anonymous. We are always trying to fit things in a box, and we're always late to the party. How do we get in front of this? The Pac-2's answer, some believe, should be to create two conference partnership with the Mountain West around a model similar to the European soccer leagues, using a relegation and promotion system for football. Now, this is the first I've heard of this. Now, I understand. I don't look. What I know about soccer could fit into a thimble. I'll admit that, but I do understand. I am aware of what they're talking about here. They have these leagues where, based on how good you are, you're promoted up or down. So what they're suggesting here, it seems like, is the possibility that you have sort of a, I don't know if you want to call it a merger or what. So the good teams would be in the Pac-12 that season, and the lower tier teams would be in the Mountain West. I guess that's what they're saying. And you can play your way up or down. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how that would work in college sports. Not that it can't. I just don't see a way that can happen with I mean, how do you convince it? How do you get a TV deal that way? It seems very convoluted. The goal is to create high-stakes matchups, scheduling alliances, and points a system to fuel interest and excitement in college football's lower tier. In theory, a such system would make these lower-resource football programs more appealing to linear and streaming partners in a world where the industry is leaning on such an income to survive. It's time that we admit that college football is an entertainment product. Well, who? Yeah, I thought we already knew that. Is that some kind of new revelation that college football is an entertainment product? What do you think it was before? I do agree with them in the way that they could make the bowl season, which is dying slowly because of the playoffs, the expansion of the playoffs, and a lot of the players sitting out bowl games if they're not in the playoffs, that they could restructure the bowl system in a way that would get more attention. And the way you do that is by eliminating conference affiliation. I'm actually surprised with how progressive that college football and athletics in general has become over the past 4 or 5 years, all the major changes, that we haven't seen the elimination of conference affiliation in bowl games yet. I think it's going to eventually have to happen. And I hope it does happen. And from what I can tell from talking to other college football fans, they feel the same way. While the sides continue to deliberate over options, there may not be a resolution for weeks until Washington County Court resolves a dispute between the Pac-2 and the other 10 schools over control of the league's decision-making powers. That includes control over the conference's liabilities and assets, two important factors in determining the future course of action for the Beavers and the Cougars. This idea is kind of brilliant, said one Group of 5 athletic director. The reason it wouldn't happen is that people wouldn't enter into something if they have a risk of losing something, like being relegated. But the economics could make sense. So the remaining teams, the remaining two teams in the Pac-12 are desperately trying to stay relevant without having to demote themselves to a Group of Five conference. I'd be surprised if that's the way it worked out, what they're talking about there with the soccer format. Very surprised. So I didn't see this. I saw a lot of people commenting on this. The NFL will evaluate and discuss all plays involving Deshaun Watson infractions on Tuesday. From what I understand is he got into it. There was a bang-bang play on the sideline. I don't know if he was pushed out or I don't know. I didn't see the game. He starts getting into it with one of the opposing team's players or coaches or both on the sideline. There's some pushing and shoving going on, and apparently Deshaun Watson, in an effort to get to whoever he was arguing with, kind of like pushes one of the officials out of the way or something. That's the way I understand it. Again, I didn't see it. I just see a lot of people complaining about it and saying he should have been ejected. Anytime you put your hands on an official, you're supposed to be ejected. I guess that's the rule. I don't know. Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson had a rough Monday. He could also have a rough Tuesday. Watson committed not one but two egregious face mask fouls in Pittsburgh, grabbing and pursuing defender by the cage and throwing him to the ground. As Chris Sims and I discussed on Tuesday's PFT Live, Watson seemed to be frustrated either by the fact that he can no longer run away from pursuing defenders or by whatever opposing players are saying to him in close quarters about his off-field issues, or both. When has any player had two blatant face mask fouls in one game? When has a quarterback ever had one? It's one of the original safety rules dating back to long before the years when the NFL downplayed and denied risks of concussions. Even a minor grab and tug of the face mask gets penalized and fined. Watson took it to the next level, twice throwing players down to the turf. Would the NFL suspend a franchise quarterback, or at least a quarterback who is paid like one? The officials might have looked the other way when he should have been ejected. Will the powers that be influenced by his status and importance to his team and the game in fashioning a penalty? Whatever happens, someone needs to calm him down. Something got under his skin last night, and it stayed there. Future opponents will surely try to replicate that each and every week until he shows that it's not frustrating him. See, that I didn't know about the face mask thing. So here's what I was talking about. Deshaun Watson contact with official did not rise to the level of a foul. That's the story I was talking about. Here's the rule. Under no circumstances the player allowed to shove, push, or strike an official in an offensive, disrespectful, or unsportsmanlike manner. The player shall be disqualified from the game, and any such action must be reported to the commissioner, who may impose further discipline. On Monday night during a sideline skirmish after the first two flagrant face mask fouls by quarterback Deshaun Watson, Watson shoved an official away from him. He was not ejected. In judgment of the officials, the contact did not rise to a level of a foul. The officials are called upon to maintain order on the field, and sometimes while performing those duties, there's an inadvertent contact between players and officials. So there you go. So it doesn't sound like they are planning any disciplinary action for him against his contact with the official, but instead the two flagrant face mask calls is how they put it. Justin Fields' lack of success. I saw, what was that crazy stat I saw the other day? Of course, you guys know C.J. Stroud, former Ohio State quarterback, who I wanted the Carolina Panthers to draft, but instead they drafted Bryce Young. I guess he's doing pretty well, at least statistically anyway. And they were comparing C.J. Stroud's stats after whatever it is, 2 games to Justin Fields' stats over the course of a season in 2 games. And he's got better stats than Fields does, which is shocking. What's up, Lucas? How you doing, buddy? To open the season against the Packers, Fields let it all hang out. He missed wide open opportunities. Footwork was sloppy. His decision-making was terrible. The same inhibitions reared their ugly heads last Sunday. And one former NFL quarterback, Dan Orlovsky, pinpointed all of Fields' problem into 2 frightening possibilities. Justin right now looks like one of 2 things. He either can't see the field or he can't read defenses. Or he has absolutely zero trust and belief in what he's looking at. Yeah, I'm not interested in this story at all. Oh, I didn't hear about this. LSU safety Greg Brooks has surgery to remove a brain tumor. Brooks missed Saturday's game versus Mississippi State due to what Tigers head coach Brian Kelly called a medical emergency. Kelly said Brooks would be out indefinitely and did not offer more details, but the Brooks family provided an update on Wednesday morning. According to the family, Brooks was found to have a large brain tumor. Oh, no. The mass was successfully removed, and the family is still waiting for biopsy results to determine the next steps. He was diagnosed last week with a large brain tumor that required emergency surgery. Doctors successfully performed a procedure Friday to remove the mass. We are grateful for the work and care of the medical staff helping Greg through this challenging and for the concern and love poured out by so many in the Louisiana/Arkansas national sports communities. This means the world to us at this difficult time. He's a 5th-year senior from Harvey, Louisiana, as a starter at safety, team captain for LSU. He spent his first 3 seasons and started 31 games at Arkansas before transferring to LSU ahead of the 2022 season. He quickly became one of LSU's top defensive backs as the program won the SEC West in Kelly's first season in Baton Rouge. In all, he compiled 66 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions in 1 season. So he's a good player. In the first 2 games of the 2023, he posted 8 tackles and 2 pass breakups before missing LSU's Week 3 matchup with Mississippi State. Well, that sucks. I hate to hear that. Sounds like a big loss for them, too. I mean, on the field, football-wise. Well, this is one of the most, well, it will be one of the most watched games, if not the most watched game. Well, I don't know. Probably will be because of Deion. I would say that a very close second is going to be the game against Notre Dame and Ohio State. Will Colorado keep it close against Oregon, breaking down Sunday's Pac-12 clash? If you look, well, first of all, most people watch the games. There's a lot of people that don't watch the games, either that or they don't know what the hell they're looking at, and they just look at final scores, box scores, that kind of thing. The reality of the situation is Colorado's offensive line is not very good. And Shedeur Sanders, credit to him, has been able to mask those issues with his athleticism and his ability to throw on the run. I mean, look, he's a very good player. Nobody's going to take that away from him. Their offense as a whole is full of speed players. Having Travis Hunter out is a big loss. I mean, he's one of one in college football. Hunter is. To be able to be as effective a player as you are on both sides of the ball and playing virtually every snap in the game is just unheard of. Having him out I think is really going to hurt them in a game like this. Also, and maybe more importantly, Oregon has a legit defense. Okay, they have fast guys too. I don't know if Shedeur Sanders is going to be able to sustain the onslaught he's going to get from that the Oregon defensive line and linebackers. I expect him to be sacked a lot more than he has been. He's been able to escape a lot of sacks because of, the competition that they've played, really. Well, I don't know. If Colorado is able to keep this close and make this a game late into the fourth quarter or even outright win it, we talked about this on the Lunch Money Show. My opinion of this team for the remainder of 2023 will have changed. Well, up to this point, they've been very impressive, but I still don't consider them to be a contender to win the Pac-12 yet. We'll see what happens this week. And again, not having Travis Hunter is a big deal, a really big deal. Bo Nix against Colorado's lack of pass rush. Oregon quarterback Bo Nix can put up Heisman numbers this weekend. The Buffalo's defense is devoid of talent up front. Yeah, their defensive, that's the other thing, too, I didn't even mention just now. I'm focusing on their offensive line and Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, receiver. Defensively, Colorado's just not very good. I mean, we all saw the game against Colorado State. Look. Does anybody think Colorado State is some kind of like juggernaut or something? They're not. And they were running up and down the field against Colorado's defense like nobody's business. In 3 years at Auburn, his splits were very eye-opening. Okay, whatever. I forget about Auburn. That's the other thing, too. Oregon has a legit offense. One of the best in the country. One of those home games was a 45-30 win against UCLA. Nix threw for 283 yards and 5 touchdowns with no sacks. The lack of pressure from Colorado presents Nix with an opportunity to duplicate that line. Last year, he kept clean. Nix completed 76.9% of his passes. He wasn't mistake-free with 7 interceptions, but it's because Nix goes for the long ball. A quarter of his attempts were in the medium to deep range. He's on par with that this year. So Oregon is not a team that they're not check down university, okay? They're not like a lot of these offenses these days, throwing more than half of their passes behind the line of scrimmage or 2 yards. The majority of their passes are mid-range to long range. Shedeur Sanders against Oregon's secondary. Colorado's Sean Lewis runs fast-paced offense that's 5th in plays per game. Washington was 20th last year. I bring up that matchup because Colorado is a one-dimensional passing offense. It's 2nd in passing yards, 127th in rushing, similar to Washington last year. The Huskies won that game against Oregon 37-34 while throwing for 408 yards and 11 yards per pass, but their defense allowed 592 yards of offense. Oregon's defense is stronger this year, but hasn't yet been tested by a passing offense as potent as Sanders and Colorado. Sanders has thrown 10-plus yards in 50 of them, with an average of 13.5 yards and 6 of those 10 total passing touchdowns. They're a legitimate threat to the Ducks' defense through the air. A lot of those big pass plays down the field for Sanders is when he's on the run, which is very impressive. But again, he's sort of escaped from what I would consider to be probably a little bit slower pass rushers than what they're going to face against Oregon. The big storyline is the absence of Travis Hunter. I'm not concerned as long as the Buffaloes have wide receivers Jimmy Horn Jr. and Xavier Weaver. Among 27 receivers with at least 20 receptions, Weaver and Horn are tied for first and second in the fewest contested targets. An accurate pocket passer with 2 receivers, able to consistently win routes against a secondary that isn't tested and maybe a bit vulnerable. That's a recipe for Coach Prime to deliver another primetime show. Well, according to Coach Prime, if you guys saw his 60 Minutes interview, which was hilarious, by the way, part of his success is that whether there's more talent on the opposing team or not, they're scared of him. This is according to him. Because he's Deion, because this is Deion's team, it has a mental effect on the opposing team. Now, that might be true, actually. I don't know. I thought it was interesting he said that, though. So. Love him or hate him, everybody's watching him, including me. I said that I've been watching college football for 30-something years, religiously. This is the first time ever in my life that I've stayed up until 3 a.m. to watch Colorado play a football game. So, and me and a lot of other people, too. So that tells you all you need to know about that. What is up? Welcome to the Midday Show.
I'm not staying up to watch Colorado.
You're not?
No. Scratching my balls with a salad fork is a more useful use of my time.
Well, I didn't expect to stay up till 3 a.m. last week. I was tired. I mean, I'd streamed for 10 hours, during the day. I was tired. But I sat down. I'm going to watch the first half and then go to bed because I'm sleepy. But it was just so damn compelling, I couldn't take my eyes off of it. So I ended up staying up and watching the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it for a little bit, but I turned it off and went to bed. I was like, see, I look at it, I get your point that, okay, it was probably an exciting game to watch. Deion should be embarrassed. His whole team should be embarrassed. I mean, even people that thought that Colorado was going to be absolute hot dog water penciled this game in as a W.
Yeah, including me. And that was actually one of the reasons I couldn't take my eyes off of it. I thought Colorado State was about to win that game. And one of the reasons I wanted to stay up is because in case they did lose, I wanted to see the post-game press conference with Deion after a loss to Colorado State. Really?
I'll watch it the next morning. I'll be all right.
Yeah. Anyway, I have a feeling, like I said, they've already exceeded my expectations as far as how they're going to look in year one with all those transfers and everything. So I'll give them credit for that. But I have a feeling they're about to be brought back to reality real here soon, this weekend. And they got to travel to Oregon too.
And listen, they haven't exceeded my expectations yet. I said 4 or 5 wins is where I had them at.
I think they'll win more than that based on what I've seen. Now, not having Travis Hunter is a big deal. I mean, how long is he going to be out? I think they said 3 weeks, but you never know. They say 3 weeks. It could end up being 5. I mean, we just don't know. But
now, what do you think of this push from people on YouTube that that kid from Colorado State that laid that late hit on Hunter should be suspended because he got injured.
No.
I agree.
I've seen the play 100 times. It's on every. It's you can't get away from it. Anywhere you go on social media, somebody's got a clip of it. I've seen the fucking play 100 times. And yes, was it a late hit? Yeah, late hits happen in almost every game. Was it egregiously late though? I don't think.
Really.
And I don't think that I don't think that he was trying to hurt him. By the way, I don't believe that.
No.
Okay. Well, what do you think about this, Pete? There are people claiming that Josh Heupel should be suspended because he intentionally tried to start that fight at the end of the game.
Josh Heupel should be suspended?
Yeah, for taking a timeout.
Yeah, I mean, which
For taking a timeout?
which started a fight.
Taking a timeout started the fight?
Yeah. Well,
According to VicTube, yes, it did, and Josh Heupel should be suspended.
man, no, I wasn't saying that he should be suspended. I was saying that maybe he should be suspended. I mean, it was just a joke, but yeah.
Tell me.
I wasn't really.
Explain to me how taking a timeout starts a fight.
Well, just what happened? Well, I mean, instead of letting the game end because the game was basically already over, and he called a timeout with 7 seconds left when he could have just let the clock run.
Well, this is a story as old as time, Vic. How many times have we heard, the game is over, but the coach. Yeah, they were up by 40, but they ran the ball in with their starters to run the score up, or they took a timeout when the game was over. They didn't need to. So are we going to start legislating timeouts now?
According to VicTube, yes.
Yeah, I don't think so, no.
Now, as far as that Deshaun Watson story, I've got an opinion on this whole thing with refs, and I'm sure a lot of people aren't going to like it, but I don't care. And football and baseball are the two worst about this. If you don't want somebody putting their hands on you, stay the fuck out of an altercation on the field. You're going to get hands put on you.
Yeah, I guess the way the rule is written is the NFL said it. I just read it. They say if it's an intentional contact. To me, it looked like he was just kind of like it's one of those hold me back type things, where he's trying to get at somebody, and anybody in his way is going to get pushed out of the way, whether it's a referee or a player or a coach or anything. I don't think he intentionally was trying to put his hands on an official. It just happened that way.
Well, even if it's intentional, like the referee gets in between you and somebody fighting and you shove him out of the way, well, take a page out of hockey refs' playbook. Stay the fuck out of it.
First of all, I don't have a problem. If they would have ejected him for that, I wouldn't have had a problem with it, if that's the rule.
I do, because I don't like referees inserting themselves into games, and NFL and MLB are the two worst about that. So, you get dumped on your little noodle because you decided to hop in the middle of a fight, well, I got no sympathy for you.
The other thing, too, is, these NFL players are huge human beings, right? Now, some of the referees are, too, but do you really think that how many referees out there are even physically capable of breaking up a fight? If two guys really want to fight each other, are you really going to be able to break that up? Most of the time, no.
I agree. That's why they should stay out of it.
It's better just stay out of the way.
Yeah, just let them beat the shit out of each other and then discipline them afterwards.
Hell, that was like the whole rule in hockey, and that's why people loved it. You kept your little whistle in your pocket. Everybody else stayed out of it. Two people fought. When they're done, everybody went to the box, and you had a merry day.
Yeah, I think that allowing fighting in hockey is silly. I do.
Oh, that's part of the fun.
Yeah, from a spectator standpoint, everyone gets happy when they get to see people fight. But if I want to see people fight, I'll turn on MMA or a boxing match. These guys are playing a sport on ice, and 9 times out of 10, their helmets come off when they're fighting. All it takes is for somebody to fall down and hit their head on the ice during a fight, and then somebody dies. Then what?
Oh, come on. Somebody's taken a skate right across the neck and survived it.
Yeah.
Well,
It happened to a goalie years ago. I've seen clips of it.
wait till somebody falls and hits their head on the ice during a fight, and that'll be the end of fighting in the NHL.
Yes, it would be.
Yeah, because they'll get sued to the gills for allowing it.
That would be.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but
Just like,
they shouldn't allow shit like that. Judges need to laugh that bullshit out of their courtroom like it should be.
yeah, just like with college boxing. I think that they stopped having college boxing after somebody died.
That brings me to the story that I read about the guy dying at the Patriots game, right?
Yeah.
So all over social media, I saw people posting the NFL should be held liable for this guy's death, and I'm like, the NFL didn't start the fight. Like, I mean, you pack 80,000 people into a stadium. Two people decide, get mad at each other and start fighting. How is that the NFL's fault?
It's not.
It's not. And one person said,
I didn't even see that one. Like, the one that I've seen this year was like two Steelers fans getting into it with a Ravens fan, and one of them had like double underhooks from behind, and the dude in the Steelers jersey just got off like 6 free shots right to dude's face.
Clint Eastwood says that's a soft take by me about the hockey thing.
Yeah.
So I get, you know what we should just do? Fuck it, man. We should just allow everybody, anytime anybody wants to fight at a sporting event, we should just go ahead and allow it. Let them beat the shit out of each other.
Well, it is part of hockey. It has been forever and a day.
Yeah. Well.
Let it be.
Yeah. Sometimes, sometimes you have, as a civilized society, you have to realize how fucking stupid it is, and you change the rules based on that. Just because it's happened forever.
I don't disagree, but I disagree that we're a civilized society.
Oh. Anyway, the other thing that people were saying about the NFL in these games, where people are constantly fighting, is the alcohol, right?
Yeah, blame it on the alcohol.
Well, most of the time,
that plays a big role in
I'm
it.
sure it does too.
Yeah, blame it on the goose.
I'm sure it does too. But also, these are grown adults. It's legal to drink if you're over 21.
Facts.
And I even saw somebody say that they should be held liable because they shouldn't be allowing drunk people to enter the stadium. So now what are we going to do? Are we going to set up a breathalyzer at the entrance and everybody has to take? I mean, how do you when people are anybody who's ever been to an NFL game or even a college game for that matter, I mean, getting into the stadium takes a while, right? Already, they got metal detectors. They're searching purses. They're doing all this. Now you're going to add, somebody's evaluating whether somebody is too drunk or not to enter. Now, I do know there's already rules in place. If you are if you are noticeably, severely intoxicated, falling down, drunk, entering the stadium, they will not let you in. But how you determine whether somebody is too intoxicated to enter the stadium when you have
Field sobriety test.
tens of thousands of people shuffling in the gate, it's an impossible task.
I agree. Well, I mean, it all comes back to, and this is something me and Luke can agree on because I've heard him say this. We need to get away from not holding people responsible for their own actions.
Right. But this is part of the reason I haven't been to a Clemson versus South Carolina game in Columbia since I was in my 20s. And the reason is because I'm a grown man now. When I was in my 20s, I didn't give a shit. I didn't have anything to lose. I didn't have a family. I didn't have a house. I didn't anything that was worth losing. So I didn't give a shit. Plus, I was young and dumb. These days, if some drunk punk kid throws something at me or says something to my wife or something or my kids, I don't know if I'll be able to control myself. So my idea is just to separate myself from that. Don't even put myself in the situation.
Well, to be honest there, though, I mean, you have a hard enough time keeping yourself out of jail, just you and your wife going.
Yeah.
Casket!
Well, there you go. You said it, not me.
I mean, I'm with you though, and I think plenty of it happens. Like literally, every big game that happens at Hard Rock, some cell phone video comes out of a fight. I remember when Miami played Notre Dame in 2017. Some drunk one-legged Notre Dame fan was trying to start a fight with everybody in the bathroom.
Yeah. But to me,
fucking hilarious.
For some reason, it does seem to happen more at NFL events than it does at college events. Usually at college games, it's like, outside the stadium, like during tailgating, or maybe when they're going to their cars after the game, you get a couple of drunk frat boys that get into a fight with a couple of other drunk frat boys. But you don't really see a lot of grown adults, 40, 50-year-old men throwing hands in the stands during the game at a college game. Every once in a while, yeah, but it seems to happen on a weekly basis in the NFL.
Yeah. Well, at most college stadiums, I mean, it kind of goes back. Most college stadiums don't sell alcohol.
A lot of them do, though, now.
You're getting more and more now, but, I mean, it's still not even close to half of them.
Yeah, I think at Georgia, you have to be a big donor to buy alcohol at the stadium.
That's weird.
Don't they only sell wine at Georgia? They don't sell anything else? I could have swore somebody said that.
They probably sell wine and liquor.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I have no idea. But you know what's funny? So Mrs. Peete went to the Backyard Brawl last weekend in Morgantown, and apparently they do sell alcohol there. But she said that the weird thing was, you walk in the stadium, and there's signs everywhere in the bathrooms and in the concourse, telling pregnant women not to drink because of fetal alcohol syndrome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Well, that just seems weird. Like, did they have a problem with that up there or something?
Probably. I mean, listen, that's one of those things like, cigarettes cause cancer.
Well,
everybody knows that.
It's like, do you think there's a pregnant woman that's going to a football game that goes, I was really about to get a glass of wine here at the concession stand, but this sign changed my mind. I really should rethink this.
Yeah, that's common knowledge.
I dealt with a Kenny Chesney concert years ago, and I had to literally stay at the fence and stop because it was in Virginia, and you have different. They have the ABC laws are different up there, so they actually have ABC agents out, and so I had to stop people from carrying out their glass of beer or their cup of liquor or whatever the hell it was. Well, there was one very pregnant woman that I had to stop and say, ma'am, I said, you can't carry that out. First off, she's drinking. You know what she does? She chugs that damn thing right the hell down.
Oh my God.
It walks out. I'm like, oh, that poor baby.
Oh man.
There's a retarded baby up in Charlottesville, Virginia right now.
Well,
I mean, I'm gonna be nice today. I could have Mad Pete on the Midday show.
Oh, go ahead.
I think it was a Florida State game at Hard Rock. I think it was 2020. There were like 3 Dade County sheriffs carting out this drunk, belligerent woman. And she got one of her legs free and kicked that Dade County sheriff in the face. He cold-cocked her right in the nose and knocked her cold as a wedge.
Why would I get mad about that?
Just seems like something you'd get mad about.
No, I don't have a problem with law enforcement defending themselves if they're physically assaulted.
Well, people tried making a thing out of it, but you clearly see in the video she got one of her legs free and kicked him right in the face.
Oh, you see these body cam videos, and you wonder about some of these cops, how they keep their patience. I'm just like, how the hell?
Yeah.
I mean, how the hell did you do your job on a day-to-day basis when you're dealing with someone that's belligerent or drunk or argumentative, etc.? You know, it's
Well, my issue becomes when police are supposed to try to de-escalate a situation, but they don't. And
Yeah, hey, that's exactly what I was fixing to say. I said the news tends to focus on the assholes of the bunch, but there are plenty of them that I'll give, like Scott said, I'll give them credit. They've got sainthood level patience.
yeah.
And also,
I guess their training kicks in regards to that, and now it's almost politically correct training for police officers. Look, I don't like cops either. I mean, per se. I mean, I'm not a big fan of cops, but at the same time, I know we need them. I know we need them badly.
yeah, of course we do.
And I commend them when they do the right thing, and a lot of the things they do is like, holy crap, I couldn't do that. I mean, by no means.
But I do disagree with the idea that you shouldn't argue with a police officer if you're committing a crime. Yeah, they've got you dead to rights. But you know, just
you have the right to
just
argue
arguing with a
officer.
police officer is not a problem in itself. It's definitely not illegal either.
I argued with a North Chuck police officer for stopped me for speeding. I was coming off the Wando Bridge and heading home, and I saw him. I saw the damn cop, but I was in the right lane, and someone in front of me just braked, and so I had to get out, speed, and I sped up and went around him. That son of a bitch turned on his lights on me as soon as I did that. And I said, did you see what happened? Did you see that I was almost about to have a damn car accident because the guy in front of me braked on me? It doesn't matter. You were speeding, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Kiss my ass.
That's why I have a dash cam in my pickup and my wife's car.
Yeah. So did he give you a ticket?
Oh yeah, he gave me a ticket. You know, and I went and paid it. I mean, you know, North Chuck Police, I hate them. I detest the North Chuck Police, Pete. And if you've ever dealt with them,
Yes, I have.
they're the only cops that I just cannot stand in this area.
I've had plenty of interactions with them. So.
Have you really? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, my younger self did, but you know, North Charleston is the least, the worst paid, or whatever, the least salary paid city cop in all of South Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're not the best group of individuals to come in contact with. That's for sure.
So just another check mark on the North Charleston.
It's like if you work at any other municipality in the state of South Carolina and you get in trouble for something, they demote you to North Charleston cop.
I think you're absolutely right about that, Pete. I think that's exactly what goes on. It's a pain in the ass. I mean, they stopped to let a funeral by, and it was a motorcycle cop, and he got out. I was braking and slowing down, and he's going, "Stop, damn it, stop!" I'm going, "I'm stopping, you asshole." He looked at me, you know, he heard me call him an asshole, you know, but you know, he looked at me like, "Oh, I'm going to do something to you." And I'm like, "Come on," you know. I can't take them, can't stand them. I want to say something that I said Monday. And I want to backtrack a little bit because, Pete, what you sent me, you know, the kicker that Georgia has is one of the top recruited kickers in the league that we got. This Peyton Woodring.
Yeah, same with Clemson. That Robert Gunn, the third guy, he was one of the top recruits for kicking in the country as well. The guy can't make a kick, though.
Yeah. Well, this Peyton Woodring, he played in Louisiana and had a high school, broke a high school record, 63-yard kick in high school. So I'm just thinking it might be nerves, you know, might have the jitters. He's a true freshman. First real conference game we played with South Carolina. I don't know. I mean, but we'll see.
I would agree with that because, you know, our kicker hits like 85, 90% of his. But his freshman year, he was only hitting like 75, and like he would hit a 53-yarder, but then turn around and miss a 33-yarder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dabo Sweeney said it right, because he's a freshman, Gunn is, and he says, you know what, all throughout fall camp, I mean, he was lights out. He was like far and away the best kicker on the team, right? But then you get him in a game situation. It's a lot different kicking in a game where shit means something and with a stadium full of people than it does at practice with nobody watching. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, I don't know. I still have faith he'll be a good kicker and everything. It's just right now the stage just seems too big for him.
Yeah, I think we need to start a different kicker, and we need to start Jared Zirkle, or we also had that transfer from Kennesaw State, Liam Badger. So
Yeah, Zirkle would be a good replacement, Vic. I agree. You know, because he's the placement kicker right now.
Now, I'm absolutely certain nerves can come into it because, like, before 2019, Bubba Baxter was hitting like 75, 80% of his kicks. And then in 2019, he missed the game winner in that opener against Florida and started getting death threats from people, and then couldn't make 50% the rest of the year.
Wow.
Yeah, I agree with Nature Boy.
When you get death threats, it scares the shit out of
The
you.
yips,
Right?
the yips are real. You see,
Especially when the death threats are coming from Miami fans.
yeah.
there's to me, Scott, you play golf, so you might understand this. The yips are real. There's a lot of similarities between kicking a football through field goal kicking and golf. You can have the best golfer in the world. If he gets the yips and loses his confidence, then he can't make a single shot, can't make a single short putt, and you just have to kind of work your way through that mentally.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a great analogy, in fact, because you look at all the great golfers out there and how accurate they can be, and then some days they just fall apart. They fall apart. They can't play.
All right, hold on to your hats for this one. Welcome to the show.
How y'all doing, y'all?
Let everyone know who they're speaking with here.
We're speaking to Octavian, man. This the one and only Florida fan, man.
What's up, Octavian? How you doing, man?
Good, man. You see the shirt, man. You see the hat, man. Florida Gators all day. Hey.
Yeah, Octavian got a big head. 2 turds floated out in the toilet bowl, and 1 turd had to win, and it just happened to be his.
And now we're about to take over the SEC East.
Oh no!
To Tennessee.
Is that right? Wow.
You ain't taking over the SEC East.
Taking over the SEC East.
Not happening.
Thanks to Tennessee's gifting us of opening the door for us. We're going to be 6-1. We're going to have tons of confidence, and we're going to destroy the Tennessee Volunteers. We're going to know the Georgia Bulldogs, the Georgia Bulldogs, and the South Carolina Gamecocks, and the Kentucky Wildcats. It's all going to be put on notice in the next couple weeks.
Octavian, I just got to tell you, you're out of your freaking mind.
Yeah, the only
you're totally off base, my friend.
Hey, you know what? Get him, Octavian. I ain't mad at you, but
the only thing, the only thing that the Gators are beating is our fans back to the parking lot.
We're gonna beat South Carolina. We're gonna beat Kentucky, and then Jacksonville, Florida will be the ass whooping of the century when we whoop the Georgia Bulldogs and have them going back to Athens, Georgia. That's gonna be the goddamn game that I'm going to really go in, and I'm going to be super excited.
I tell you, you want to make a bet? Georgia, would you like to make a wager on that particular game?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I would. I love betting Georgia fans. What is the bet here for this particular Georgia game here?
I don't know what the line is, but I'll bet you $100 straight up we'll win.
I love my Gators. And I'll bet that house on the Gators, because look, the Gators, man, we got it. We feel it now. We feel it. After we beat Tennessee, we just had to get the monkey off our back, man.
Hey, let me ask you a question, Octavian. Is it possible that Tennessee's just not very good?
Tennessee's a good team. They just got offensive line issues. So, like I said, they were soft. They're soft as cotton candy, man. That's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You ain't got to be a football fan to see that Tennessee's soft. They don't have nobody.
Well, they got a lot more than offensive line problems. They got quarterback problems. They got defense problems.
But I'll tell you one thing. The Tennessee fans that says they want Nico, I wouldn't put Nico in right now. I'll roll with Joe Milton until, like, let's say the Alabama game. If he's struggling the first quarter of the Alabama game, pull him out and take and put Nico in. But roll with Nico until, something happens. Tennessee has a good football team. I'll give them a lot of hell, but Tennessee has a great football team.
When is the Georgia and Florida game? Is that week 6?
Yeah, it's on Halloween.
Oh, it's on Halloween.
Well,
Yeah, Halloween weekend, the weekend right before my birthday, we're gonna get a good birthday. The Florida Gators is gonna give me a good birthday wish this year. We're gonna beat the Georgia Bulldogs. I hope I can attend the game so I can root on my Gators. And when we win, I hope I can get down there to the locker room and party with them. Because we're gonna beat Georgia this year.
Get down.
We are targeting.
Why would they let you in the locker room?
Octavian, the only thing that's come out of Gainesville that's been good was Tom Petty.
yeah.
No, Scott, you forgot about I-75.
Oh yeah, that too.
Okay.
We beating Georgia, and we're gonna be. And y'all like to joke about that. We gonna lose to Vandy. We're gonna kill Vandy by 70 points.
I'll agree with you there. That might be the only thing you said so far I agree with you with. Vandy's awful.
I can't even agree that they're going to beat Vandy by 70. I mean, once again,
We beat Vanderbilt by 70
Time
points.
with South Carolina.
talk about two floaters in the toilet bowl.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're going to have a hard time with South Carolina.
Yeah, they might.
Man, look. Right now, I'm on the Florida State's campus. I'm looking at them practice. Horrible. Clemson's going to beat this team by 21 points.
Now,
Horrible.
I agree with you there.
Yeah, now you're talking.
What are you doing on Florida State's campus?
I'm looking at them practice as we speak. Looking shitty.
Why? You live there?
I live in Tallahassee. Shitty place, shitty team, shitty performances on the. They fight out. They look like they were starting to fight out here at the practice.
Well, I mean, we saw how they looked against Boston College.
No, they had the flu,
Florida
Vic.
State,
They had
Listen, you got a cupcake game this week.
They had the flu.
Charlotte. Then you got to play Kentucky at Kentucky.
Yeah.
And,
look, hold on.
and I don't think that's a rollover game either. I don't think Kentucky's a rollover team. Then you got Vanderbilt at Florida. Yeah, you could probably beat Vanderbilt, but then you got to play South Carolina in South Carolina.
Now, hold on to my defense. We play Kentucky at noon. In Kentucky, that's a good thing. We're gonna beat them by 17 points.
Okay.
We're gonna beat Kentucky by 17 points. You can mark that down. Now, South Carolina might be a night game, and I hope it be the CBS game of the week for South Carolina and Florida. I really think we catch them at 3:30. We beat them by 10 points. If it's a night game, we beat them by 3.
I'll give you this. Florida might have the best running back in the SEC with
We
ETN.
got the best defense. We got the best defense in the SEC. You talk about running back.
Come
We
on
got
now.
the best.
Oh, hold up.
We
Hold
got
up.
we
up.
got the best defense
No, you
in the
don't.
SEC.
No, you don't. No.
We got the best defensive coordinator, Austin Armstrong. It's the GOAT, man. I'm telling you.
It doesn't matter about it doesn't matter about the coordinator. It matters about the damn team that you put on the field. Who cares about your defensive coordinator? You might have the best defensive coordinator, but unless he puts a good defensive team on the field, what does that matter? Georgia is always going to be up there as far as defense.
Oh my God!
Yeah, Georgia has the best.
Here we go with
Without a
the Georgia.
doubt.
Here we
There's
go
no
with
doubt.
Here we go with diarrhea of the mouth that Georgia is just the best defense in the SEC. Just don't hate because the Gators lead the SEC in defense. Don't hate. Just appreciate. Look,
How did? Okay.
Just hate it. Y'all hate it. Just admit it. Y'all hate Florida being on top of the SEC in defense. Now, once we get on top of the SEC on offense, y'all really gonna be hating because we're gonna be setting the bar. We're gonna set the bar so high. We're gonna beat Georgia every year.
Georgia, listen, where do you get this? Where do you get this that Florida has the best defense in the SEC? It's not true. No, it's not. Georgia is number 1. Alabama is number 2. Kentucky is number 3.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
Oh, Pete.
Man, have you not?
Hang on, Octave.
Wait, I take it back. No, I got it back. I got it wrong. Georgia's number 1. Michigan is number 2. Alabama is number 3. Penn State is number 4. Clemson is number 5. Iowa is number 6. Florida State is number 7. LSU is number 8.
They gave up 34 to Texas.
Scott, that's fake news.
That's fake news. Florida State is 77th in total defense. 77th.
That's what I was fixing to bring up. They've updated those numbers. It's even worse. They're 101st.
Oh my God! Say it ain't so.
Florida State. You're saying Florida State, right?
Yeah.
Total defense right now. Air Force is number 1. Florida State is 101. North Carolina has a better defense than Florida State.
Damn.
Wow.
Poverty.
That's what you said. We might put 50 points on Florida State.
Don't say. I mean, Florida's not even in the top 10, man. I mean,
we got the top 10 defense. Are you serious? We got the best defense in the SEC.
I think Clemson's at number 8.
Yeah.
We got the best defense in the SEC. Are you serious?
No, you don't. You do not.
Man, y'all are some real Georgia fans. Y'all just like to hate on Florida. Y'all just like to hate.
I'm telling the damn truth. You tell the truth, and I won't hate. That's not hate. I'm just telling the truth.
Hang on. Pete can settle this. He can pull up the numbers.
I just pull it up. So he is right. Florida is number 10 in total defense. There's not another SEC team in the top 10. He is right about that.
Not even close. Not even close.
Arkansas is number 11. Auburn 14, Georgia 15.
We got a better defense than Georgia. Come on, stop playing with us, man.
There you go. Octavian's right.
But
up for him.
I'm still scrolling down here. No Florida State in sight. It's like the ATM machine. They only talk to you if you got $20 in your account. Well, they only talk to you on this website unless you're at least top 50. Florida State's not.
Where are you finding your numbers at, Pete? Where are these numbers at?
Website.
You have to scroll back up to the top of the chart, like right above the chart in like the upper right hand corner. You see it's like a 1, 2, 3. Yeah, those are the page numbers.
Okay, so let's go down. Let's find them then. Here's page 2. This Scott, this is the NCAA stat website.
Okay. All right.
You ain't gonna find Florida State there either.
70. Oh shit.
Florida State got them.
Oh no.
110th.
Oh my God, there's 100. There's still not even that. Oh my God, this is really sad. Let's go to page 3. Yeah, go to page 3. See if we can find them on there somewhere. Where are we at here? There they are. 101st.
Wow. Wow.
Poverty.
So out of 101 teams, they are 101st.
And look who's 104th. South Carolina. God Almighty.
Yeah, we're gonna run a freight train through South Carolina. This is gonna be 40-66 when we beat them in William B. in 3 weeks.
That's why I'm not understanding the whole thing that Florida State's going to beat Clemson, because even offense, Clemson's ranked 20th. Florida State is 33rd in total offense.
Yeah, look at this here. This is also shocking. Guess who has the 125th total defense in the country? Colorado State.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Wow.
Look who's got the 122nd.
Hey,
Colorado.
Travis Hunter out. That kid should be suspended. Why he was not suspended and why did not kick him out of the damn game is beyond me.
Why?
I got another question.
Hang on, Scott. Scott, why? Should we throw every player out for every late hit?
No.
That kid should be suspended at least
Why?
for what he did. He had no damn remorse at all. Zero.
It wasn't an egregiously late hit. It was a little late.
It was a
I'll give
pretty
it that.
damn. Yes, it was.
That was a
It
dirty
30
hit,
yes,
man.
it was a late hit. They
said
charged him
it
30
was
yards
late.
on the damn. Not only for the block, but the roughness of the damn play. It was a 30-yard
it-
penalty.
Right.
No, it was a 15-yard penalty for that.
No,
hit.
there was-
Late.
No, it
The
was
block-
two.
Pass interference too. It
There
was
was
pass
two
interference
penalties.
Two penalties. It was 30 yards.
and a late hit.
Okay, so it's not 30 yards for the hit, Scott.
So you agree with that hit? You say that was okay, all right? So
No, I-
one
no, I
of your
didn't.
Miami
Hang
guys
on,
got hit
hang
the same
on.
damn
No,
way.
I
There's
didn't,
no
Scott.
way in hell
Quit
you'd
trying
agree
to
with
put
it.
fucking words in my mouth, Scott. No, I didn't. I said it was a late hit. It was not egregiously late.
Well, what the hell does that mean? It was a late hit, but it wasn't egregiously late. What do you
Okay.
mean by that?
Okay, so we're going to throw out every Georgia player for a late hit, too. And you would call bullshit.
Georgia doesn't do too many late hits. You don't see that. That's
Yes,
the
they
discipline of a damn team.
They're-
to be doing late hits
late
like
hits.
that.
They definitely
They
do.
don't act that way.
Definitely.
There are
That would-
multiple late hits in every football game ever played.
Yes, there are, but at the same time, you don't see that a lot with Georgia. That was a personal hit
spare
against
me
this
with
guy.
your soapbox righteousness.
Hold on now. Here's
so much
No,
holier
hold
than
on.
thou.
It ain't so-called righteousness, Slim. Jesus Christ, this kid was on the road to be a Heisman Trophy candidate, and they
wasn't.
did that purposely. They did
No,
that
he
bullshit
wasn't
purposely.
going to
I
win.
wouldn't
No,
be
he was
I wouldn't
not
be
going to win
surprised
the
if the
Heisman.
coach told him to go after him.
He was not going to win the Heisman.
All right, so I have a question for you, Scott, because college football with the targeting rule, the reason they automatically eject a player for if they get a penalty for targeting is because they say they can't judge intent, right? In other words, was it an accidental targeting or was it intentional? So, but what you're saying is now what you're saying is that they should eject players for they should legislate intention on that.
I think that kid should be suspended absolutely for a game or two. I mean, if you look at the play and look at the hit, that kid should be suspended.
I know it wasn't.
I think that's the dumbest take in the history of football.
I understand, Blazer Dog, that wasn't targeting. I'm talking about intent.
It was a dirty damn hit. Octavian and I agree. That was a dirty ass hit. And like I said, I wouldn't be put it past that damn Colorado State coach that told him to go out there and knock his ass out. That's what he probably told him.
Well,
The ball was 3 yards on
Yeah.
let me tell you something. If you're that psychic and you know what's going on in people's minds, go get you a hotline. You can make
Yeah.
I already have one, Slim. And why is it you keep calling me?
We get the Scott Kerr hotline. Yeah.
That's right. The Scott Kerr psychic hotline.
I would like to point out here that 7 of the top 20 offenses in the country reside in the ACC.
Wow. Are you serious?
Yes.
ACC
Well-
playing some football this year?
Well, if you include Notre Dame, which I do, because they're basically an ACC team, but if you don't, it's still 6 of the top 20. Clemson,
ACC
North Carolina, Georgia Tech,
Hey,
Louisville, Syracuse.
Octavian, I'll tell you who we played. We're 4-2 against the SEC and the Big Ten.
there you go.
It's okay. The SEC will clean up, during the last games of the year. We'll be undefeated when we play the ACC schools.
Stop it.
Oh man.
I need some waiters. Between Scott and Octavian, it's getting deep in here.
I'm telling you.
Hey,
I'm telling you.
Slim, tell me what's your zodiac sign so I can give you a psychic reading.
I'm a Pisces, sir. I'm a Pisces.
You know, I feel that there's going to be some traveling in your travels soon. See, I'm good.
That's a good one. Yeah. What about me? Can you do me next, Scott?
Yeah, Vic. Let's see. What's your zodiac sign?
Virgo.
See, I don't even
Virgo?
need to know this.
Yeah.
Vic, I predict that you're going to have some good predictions for the Georgia football games ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
Except for the Florida, because he's going to be wrong about the Florida game.
Oh, you and the Florida Gators. Oh, Lord have mercy. We'll see. You know what? Look, it's college football. Anything can happen in college football, and I always say that.
I want to know your honest opinion for the next two bigger points that we play, South Carolina and Kentucky. What's your honest opinion for the game? What can the Gators do to pull out the victory on the road for both of those games?
Well, first off, you got to play in Kentucky, and actually, and you also have to play in South Carolina. Those are 2 away games. You know, any kind of college football game that is, and you playing an away game, that's a scary proposition to me.
Yeah, I actually believe that Florida's going to win both those games. I agree with Octavian there, but
I could see them going 1-1 in those two. Just being honest.
I can see. I'm with you. I'm with Slim there. I can see winning one and losing one. I don't know who, whether it be Kentucky or South Carolina, but I can see 1-1. Yeah.
If I had to pick one to say that they're going to lose, and this is strictly because they have the better quarterback, and that would be South Carolina.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Spencer Rattler's the real deal, man. I mean, I hate to say that, but the damn kid can throw the ball, man.
And he stood in there and took some shots and just kept throwing.
He sure did. Yeah.
Yeah, they have no offensive line. That's the problem.
Spencer Rattler. If I was to bet against my own team, I would have bet South Carolina to beat the Gators because they have a better quarterback. I'm not so. Who has seen Devin Leary play? Who has Devin Leary played so far?
He's played like.
Are we doing the who have they played thing now?
Well, actually, if you want to get downright technical,
who have they played?
Devin Leary played in the Florida State game, and they beat Florida State. So
that was when he was at NC State. I'm talking about at Kentucky. Who have they played?
Well, they're only 3 games into the season, Octavian.
That's it.
And let me interject something Deion Sanders said about Henry Blackburn. And this is Deion, okay? So, okay, he's above the fray. No, he's definitely above the fray. Deion Sanders on Henry Blackburn, he made a tremendous hit on Travis on the sideline. You could call it dirty. You could call it if he was just playing the game. But it does not constitute that he should be receiving death threats. This is still a young man trying to make it.
Yeah.
Well, of course, Deion's going to come out publicly and say that. He has to. He says anything other than that, he'd get crucified.
He doesn't have to say anything.
No, he didn't have to say that. I totally disagree with that, Slim. I mean, this is Deion. Deion.
Yes, he has to come out and condemn the death threats, or he would have got public.
Well, first of all, he said in that statement that it could have just been a football play. He wasn't condemning him for it.
Yeah, he didn't. He didn't condemn me for it.
So to me, Slim, it sounds like Deion agrees with you.
You could call it dirty. You could call it he was just playing the game.
Yeah.
But if it does not constitute that he should be receiving death threats, still a young man trying to make it.
But that's exactly what I said. He had to come out and condemn the death threats.
Yeah, that was the bear. Yeah, that was the bare minimum, just to condemn.
But that's above the fray. That's Deion, man. That's above the fray, and that's how Deion coaches. And and I think that's why he's getting so much freaking attention.
Yeah, he didn't say anything about his son, the quarterback, poking somebody in the eyeball through the face mask at all.
Right. That's right.
Anyway, Dogman from Pakistan, thank you for the super chat. Georgia, #1 scoring defense. Florida, #1 total defense. I guess he's talking about the SEC.
Scoring defense.
Offense scores more points than UF than Georgia. Georgia gives up more yards.
Who gives a damn about Georgia scoring defense? We lead the damn SEC and SEC.
Points are what win.
That's right. Defense is points per game. The most points per game we've given up recently was the South Carolina game.
It's not about who's more yards, it's about more points.
I tend to look at total defense just because it's an overall stat, same way with offense.
We gave up 16 points to Tennessee, that high-flying offense. Are you serious?
Well, Tennessee's not high-flying this year. They're not.
No, they're not.
And they weren't coming into that game either, Octavian.
No, they were not. Everyone's comparing Tennessee from last year, and that's the wrong thing to do. Tennessee, it doesn't have, Hooker and all the other players.
Yeah, just like Alabama doesn't have Bryce Young and those receivers that they had last year either.
Right.
They don't have any hotels on their roster.
When we shut down Kentucky and South Carolina, y'all gonna really put some respect on Florida's name.
Octavian, I'll never put respect on Florida's name, ever.
When we beat Miami next year for the first game of the season, y'all really going to be putting in respect.
Stop it.
Tyler
Van Dyke might put up 600 yards of offense by himself in that game.
Y'all Miami fans really, really think y'all good. Y'all not good at all.
No, I didn't say Miami's good. They're probably still going to lose 3
Hey,
games.
Octavian, lay down Benjamin with me, man, and bet the game against Georgia.
I like this. I like the Gators. Georgia.
Miami. Anybody who's watched
Where your mouth is.
anybody who's watched Miami and Florida so far this year thinks that Miami looks better than Florida after 3 weeks.
$50 bet that we go down to Jacksonville and we kick the Bulldogs' ass.
$50 bet.
There you go.
Everyone heard that?
You heard it right here, folks.
$50.
$50, I tell you. Okay.
$50 bet that we kick Georgia's ass in Jacksonville, and when I'm going to be singing the old boys in Florida.
After the game, you come on Pigskin Pete's Monday show, and I'll either pay you or you pay me. How about that?
I'll pay you $50.
Okay, $50. All right, everybody heard it. Hey, I want to ask one question. What the hell happened to Stetson Bennett? Anyone know?
No idea.
No,
They just know that they're
pretty
just
quiet
keeping.
about it.
They're keeping it private. That's all we know.
Did he walk into the wrong house again, or?
I mean, it's what the hell's going on with it?
Something tells me he might have pulled a Johnny Football when he got to the NFL.
I was about to say.
He went and got a haircut and got a little full of himself.
Look, nobody wanted to say it, but let's be real here. Los Angeles, California might have been the worst place for him to go play football at.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. He's in L.A. too? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I thought that if he had been caught doing something, we would have heard about it.
I agree with that.
It would
I think they would have
gone viral if he had.
Well, I'm not
been.
talking about he broke the law or anything, but maybe the guy's showing up hungover to practice or something. I mean, that's not.
Hung over to practice.
Yeah.
Well, then why don't they just say that he's coming into practice hungover? Yeah.
Well, because they want to embarrass the guy.
Yeah, maybe he tried doing a line off the practice squad center's ass. I don't know.
What?
So, Victor, who's Georgia's next big opponent they got coming up next? Auburn?
Auburn.
Auburn.
Oh, that's a loss. That's a loss. That's a loss. That's a loss. Auburn's going to tear down the goalposts on y'all. That's going to be Georgia's first loss. That's going to be Georgia's first loss.
Oh, my God.
Look, I don't want to make light. I want to be clear here. I don't want to make light.
Top scoring defense when they play Auburn Tigers. Hugh Freeze.
Hang on, Octavian. Pete was trying to talk.
Yeah, I said I don't want to make light of the Stetson Bennett situation. If he has a substance abuse problem, I'm not making fun of him for that. That's a serious issue. So I don't want to, I definitely don't want to sound like I'm making fun of him for that.
No, you're not. I mean, but it should be made fun of if that's exactly what happened to him.
I mean, I'll make fun of him, but I agree with you that it's a serious problem that he needs. I wish him Godspeed in dealing with, if that's what it is.
Look, he'll always be a Georgia football hero. Again, what I think he should have done is gone back to his hometown, open up an equity firm, and open up an insurance agency and make a buku of money.
Well, hopefully he does do that eventually.
And he might still do that.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he should do, because he'll always be. In the state of Georgia, he'll always be a huge football hero.
I compare him to Taj Boyd. Taj Boyd was one of the greatest quarterbacks in the modern era of Clemson football, and it didn't work out for him in the NFL. He just wasn't good enough to be a starter there. But he's made a career out of being Clemson's quarterback. I mean, he lives up there. As far as I know, well now he's a coach on the team, but even before that. I think he made a living, doing media, podcasting, that kind of thing, and it's all because of his success at Clemson.
Same sort of thing. I mean,
I think Pete might have hit the nail on the head too with Stetson, because as liberal as college towns are, I'm sure it's still a culture shock going from Athens, Georgia, to Los Angeles.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Octavian, they keep asking me in the chat for me to ask you, who is Florida's backup quarterback?
Florida's backup quarterback is Max Brown, number 17.
Who? Max
Who?
Brown.
Max Brown.
Max Brown.
Heard of her.
Never heard of her.
Max Brown.
Well, get used to hearing them when we start blowing out South Carolina and Kentucky.
Lord.
Man. Well, he's a true Florida fan. Good for him.
All right, there you go. Max Brown, everybody.
Max Brown, everybody.
Yeah,
Here
Max.
he is, ladies and gentlemen, Max Brown.
Y'all Georgia fans, man. Y'all Georgia fans really gonna be in for the Rudy Ricky when they go to Jordan Hare Stadium.
Man, you talk about Miami fans, Octavian. Y'all beat up a terrible Tennessee team, and you out here act like you kings of the world.
I know, but why do you keep bringing up Georgia? Why do you keep bringing up Georgia? You've still got to play against Kentucky and South Carolina. You're just like glossing over those teams as if they're like automatic wins or something.
We're not worried about South Carolina.
Well, maybe you
worried
should
about
be.
the Georgia Bulldogs. We worried about Georgia.
You
You
should be
worry-
worried about
worry
South
about
Carolina and
Kentucky
Kentucky.
and South Carolina. Yeah.
We not worried about South Carolina, man. We're not worried about Carolina jackpot talking this bullshit.
Hey, Octavian, take it from me. I looked over Duke. How'd that work out for me?
Yeah.
Hey, I looked over Middle Tennessee State. How'd that work out for me?
Yeah.
After we beat Kentucky and South Carolina, we got this. We got this. We're gonna win the East on an upset kick in Jacksonville.
Oh, win the East, too. Oh, my God. You want to put another 50 on winning the East?
We win the East, and we go to 11. We represent the SEC East. After we beat Missouri, we got one game after the Georgia game. Is that Missouri, and it depends on how Missouri is at the end of the season if they beat up or not. We beat them, and we go on to the SEC championship.
Yeah, because Missouri has pretty much owned Florida since they joined the conference.
No, they haven't. We beat them. We beat them last year. No, they haven't. No.
Hey,
Who's this?
Welcome to the show.
Octavian, Kentucky's gonna beat y'all.
That's like the 100th Kentucky fan that called us this week, huh?
I don't think
Kentucky,
the man said he was a Kentucky fan. He just said Kentucky. I said Kentucky's going to beat you. Does that make me a Kentucky fan?
Oh man,
Who's that?
this Kentucky wish they could beat Florida 3 years in a row. We beat y'all for 31 years. We beat y'all for 31 years straight. So sit down somewhere.
I want to know who let Octavian in the Florida State facility.
That's good. Well, Mike Norvell probably thought he was another transfer.
Never. Horrible. That is horrible. I wish I could have gotten the part of presence when they started about to start fighting. Florida State is in poverty. They're gonna lose by 30 points to Clemson. Mark my words.
Bam, 30? 30?
Death Valley will be rocking Saturday afternoon because Florida State won't get off the damn bus.
Hey, if Clemson doesn't beat Florida State by at least 30, then they're not a playoff team in that.
Playoff team in that? Playoff team in that?
Clemson, after Clemson beats Florida State, they will be back in the playoff conversation because they're going to beat everybody else they play.
Hey, listen, I'll give Octavian this much credit. His takes aren't as crazy as a couple I've heard because I heard an LSU fan talking about they're going to get revenge against Florida State in the playoffs.
Oh, talking about the mighty Tigers, LSU. We are going to go to Death Valley after we play the Georgia Bulldogs and win that game. We're going to go to. That's going to be our statement game. After the Georgia game at Death Valley, I hope it be a night game. We beat the shit out of them.
Octavian, I'm no stranger to day drinking, but sir, you started a little bit too early today, sir.
We beat the shit out of them.
Oh my God, I tend to agree.
We beat the shit out of LSU in Death Valley this year after we beat the Georgia Bulldogs.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all ain't gonna beat Bulldogs. Y'all ain't gonna beat LSU.
Look, you got to play Arkansas. You may not even beat Arkansas.
Hang on, Octavia. You said you're going to beat Georgia by 3 on a last-minute field goal. How many points you going to beat LSU by?
We beat them by 17 points. 17 points.
He's the one that's got the psychic hotline, not me.
I'm writing all this shit down. I'm fixing to make some bets.
We beat South Carolina by 17. We beat Kentucky by 10 on the road. We beat LSU by 17, and we beat Georgia by 3. And we beat Missouri by 7. And the last game of the season.
Hang on, Octavia. You said Spencer Rattler was the better quarterback, but you think you're going to beat South Carolina by more than you're going to beat Kentucky by.
Oh, yeah, he's going to throw interceptions. We're going to put the pressure on his ass, and he's going to throw his interceptions. No, Spencer Rattler, he's going to throw an interception. And then this is the kicker, y'all. We beat Florida State by 4 touchdowns in the swamp.
Wow.
Man.
We kicked their ass by 4 touchdowns.
So you
if he's right, and Clemson.
Good day, sir.
Congratulations. You tried and you failed miserably. The forecast for today is partly stupid with 100% chance of dumbass.
We beat Florida State.
He may have a point, Pete, because if Clemson beats Florida State as bad as he says, by the last game of the year, they may just be in pure give-up mode.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, the only miracle I can see with Florida is that Mrs. Mullen comes back and gives everybody a handy.
Well, you talk about a recruiting nightmare. I mean, it's impossible to recruit against her.
That's right.
I still like my 10-2 prediction during the preseason. Look very, 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 very likable right now. Very, very likable.
You're only in 3 games in, for God's sake.
It's okay.
My God. Look, come on.
Man, they beat Tennessee. They've got this man in full delusion mode.
It was a blessing. It was a blessing that we lost that game. Because guess what?
A blessing. What?
I would love to lose to Utah than at Tennessee.
They've channeled that Nick Saban power, where if they lose a game, they're more dangerous.
Yeah, right.
We're more dangerous than ever.
Yeah, they keep telling me the best thing to happen to Florida State was almost losing to Boston College too. Now they're mad.
Yeah.
Florida, let me tell you something.
They should be mad because Boston College fucking terrible. They should be mad about that.
Let me tell you something. Florida State is soft as hell. You get after they off the line, you bully that quarterback, they gonna fall like some little bitches.
I think you have several challenges before you get to Georgia.
Really. Yeah, he's got some challenges, all right.
Kentucky and South Carolina may have your ass handed to you with either one of those things.
Scott, saying Octavian has several challenges may be the understatement of this football
season. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
He's telling us.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you that I'm happy to take your $50. After the game.
Telling you, when we beat
October, happy Halloween. That'll be happy. I can buy trick or treat candy with all that.
See, listen, do I think there's a high probability that Miami's going to beat Clemson? No, but I'll happily put a bottle on the line with Pete because I know we're both going to be drinking it.
Yeah, it's a win-win situation.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, there's no losers there.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, I'll get out of here. Octavian, it was a pleasure talking to you. sir.
Oh,
And,
but thank you, man. Anytime, man. Anytime, you know, Georgia. Anytime Georgia lose, give me a call. I love to rub it in.
Well, see, since we won 20 in a damn row, I won't be calling you any damn time soon. Okay. Thank you. See you, Pete.
See you later, Scott. Unfortunately, that's going to do it for me as well. I got to go. It's 1 o'clock.
All right, y'all.
All right. See you later, Octavian. Well, he dropped off. I was about to tell him to make sure he didn't get arrested on Florida State's. Who in the hell let him in there?
I'm telling you, man, Mike Norvell's brought in so many transfers, he don't know them all.
He lives in Tallahassee. Tallahassee, I guess Gainesville is the only worst place to live than Tallahassee in Florida. I don't know.
I mean, that's like saying you would live in Columbia.
No, I wouldn't. The only way I'd live in Columbia is if they locked me in that prison up there. That's the only way. Anyway.
Go to a South Carolina game and you make it your wish.
Yeah.
So, Pete, would you rather live in Columbia, South Carolina, or Columbia, South America?
South America.
Wow.
They've got better roads. And the women are hotter. To be honest with you, I'd rather live in the fucking Congo than Columbia, South Carolina. Anyway. All right. Thank you, Vic, for coming on. You got a show today?
Today?
No. Celine does.
Yes, Celine does.
All right.
More Gators fans.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, Vic.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me on, Pete.
All right, Slim, be safe out there. Where are you at today?
Louisiana.
Louisiana? What part?
Yes, sir. There's a field.
Do you see an F-35 plane out there in that field, or?
I have not, but I'm keeping a weathered eye on the horizon.
All right.
But before I go, shout out to Volusia. I know you're probably still in trouble. We miss you, buddy. But I get it.
Yeah.
Poor fella.
Poor
Got
guy.
a little too animated, got in trouble.
Yeah, I said the only thing worse than being yelled at by your wife is being yelled at in a foreign language.
Yeah, but I understand ass chewing from a wife in any language.
Yeah. It all sounds the same, doesn't it? All right, Slim, be safe out there, brother. Thanks for coming on.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for me today. A great midday show. Of course it is, because it always is. I will be back tonight, though, at 10 p.m. for the live college football call-in show. Looking forward to that. Everyone have a great day. Thanks for all the people that came in the chat and whatnot. And, of course, all the people that support the show through Super Chat. Of course, the channel members and the Patreon members. If you weren't here at the beginning of the show, make sure you go check out the community tab, or if you're on Patreon, go over there and give me your vote on which game you want me to stream for the members only. It's going to be either the 3:30 slot or the 7:30 prime time slot. Get your votes in now. I'll leave it open for another 24 hours or so. All right, everybody, have a great Wednesday, and I will see you guys tonight at 10 p.m.